Do you want to tell us about when did you meet Paula? Is that right?
I met my wife at St. Moritz. I think she might have been 16, I might have been 17. And only yesterday we celebrated our 52nd wedding anniversary. And we went together from 16 till when she turned 21. And that's when her mother would allow her to get married. I was 22. And by the time we were 30, we had 6 kids. She was a good Catholic, I was a careless Protestant. I thought the rhythm system was going up and down. It didn't turn out that way. As you came into Luna Park, the smell of the waffles, which had fresh cream in them, you'd go and buy one of them and then do your thing. You'd go into the Giggle Palace, the Penny Arcade, and then you'd go over the road there were 2 special American type milk bars. One was called the Candy Corner and one was called the Katharina. And both of those places were there. And for a long period of time, Candy Corner to become the police station for the area. And the Katharina became where they turned the trams round at the end of the road there. At the other corner was Vic's Hamburgers, which was well before the days of McDonald's, and they were a very good hamburger. And there were a couple of very good Chinese restaurants where you'd probably go and have your Sunday lunch and a bit of a laugh before going down the beach and having a swim from Brooks's Jetty. Now, Brooks's Jetty today is in the front of, what's the nice restaurant we go to down there? Donovan's, in front of Donovan's. And you'd swim from Donovan's all the way to the end of the St Kilda Pier. And that was quite adventurous for a 14, 15-year-old kid at that time. Then you'd walk home, back along Fitzroy Street, where they had the first cappuccino machine and potato chip Bertie. Potato chip Bertie was the first to pack French fries in a little bag. And there were some of the special features in the earlier days. A little later on, Leo's Spaghetti Bar, the first spaghetti bar that was open in Melbourne, was also there. Now, if we went and played ice hockey, as I did on Friday nights, after the hockey we'd go around for a cup of coffee at Sully's, which is now D'Astacio's, but in those days it was known as Cafe 31. And maybe on a Sunday night there was a live show at a place called The Galleon. And alongside of The Galleon was a barber called Peter Gunn. And he used to give fancy haircuts like the one you're wearing today. And he'd do it with a razor. A European barber, but always full. And the place always had a tremendous amount of activity. And even today, it's still got that same sort of pizzazz that it had some 60 odd years ago. I started playing football at St Kilda in 1955 with the under-19s. I captained them in 1955. I played 56. I captained them when I went into national service, and went up to Ballarat in 57 and played 58, 59, 60, 61 in and out, but I wasn't a good footballer.
So that was Junction Oval?
Junction Oval, and prior to playing there, I used to carry the sandwich boards from the Windsor Theatre, which broadcast what was on the theatre on the Saturday night, as well as collecting bottles and selling ice cream and soft drinks. Probably where I learnt a lot of my first experiences of commerce. St Kilda would have rated with Brunswick, Fitzroy, Richmond as a tough area. And there'd be probably as many street fights in those early days right through that region. If you could buy a copy of The Truth, which was one of the old papers of the 40s and 50s, you'd be amazed at who lived where in the area and some of the capers that they got up to in those particular periods. It'd be interesting reading if you could go to the public library and look from about, I don't know, 1938 onwards, and just scan the front pages, you'd make a marvellous story.